systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, Ship It Nation YouTube station? Back with my guy Belman, like I am each and every Monday, to break down the 7-game slate on DraftKings. We got Coors Field, we got trade deadline, we got trades flying all over the board. Still 2 hours left before the trade deadline, so this is definitely going to feel like an NBA slate. You are going to definitely want to be around and be able to edit your teams leading up to lock here. Because we do have, I don't know about how many selling teams we have on here. Obviously, the Angels are off here and some of the other teams, but a lot of these teams could be involved in trades, like the Brewers still. Cardinals might be doing some stuff still. The Cubs are very active right now. So a lot of these teams are very active. And yeah, 2 hours left, so you do have to monitor that. But Belman, I'll bring you in, man. Happy Monday. Looking forward to breaking down this show with you. How are we doing today?
Yeah, I always love trade deadline day. It brings me back to like my younger days watching it live on ESPN. I miss those days, not gonna lie. Like, you get the news faster now, but it's, I don't know. There's something different about it, obviously. Times change as always. You know, you get older, so on and so forth. But man, it's always exciting. And in a couple hours, as you mentioned, so we'll probably get some moves throughout the show. Already some big time moves. Yeah, I know Milwaukee, as we talked about before, upgraded their rotation and their pen, which is nice to see. Cleveland finally got a power bat from the right side, so I'm hoping Cleveland makes another move too. So exciting times right now, and we got a fun slate to break down, a massive core slate. You talk about slates like we've had, recently where you have a bunch of good spots. This one is very concentrated. You've got the best offense, one of the best offenses on the slate against arguably the worst pitcher in cores. So really good spot for Tampa. Low key, of all the moves made at the deadline, I think I like Tampa getting Liam Hicks the most. Like, they needed a boost to their lineup. He's good. I like that Rays team, man.
Yeah, that helps a lot. You're talking about rolling out random alphabet no-name catchers every day,
right?
One of the best teams in baseball, which is shocking to me still looking at this roster. They got a bunch of platoon guys. We're going to talk about it again. There's a bunch of pinch hit guys every time they're on a slate, but that's good for real life baseball. That's bad for DFS, obviously, but at the end of the day, GMs don't care or don't give a shit about DFS and fantasy points. They care about winning money and making money for the franchise, right? So yeah, Tampa, obviously going to be the talking point of the slate. You sort by projected ownership on the slate, and the top 8 guys all come from Tampa. The 9th would be Junior Caminero. The only reason he's not all the way up there is because he's 6,800 at third base, which is usually a position people like to save money, and it is righty there. So obviously we'll talk about it. From the pitching, seems pretty concentrated. For me, it seems like Cam Schlittler is in pretty much a tier of his own. Like, majority of my teams are going to have him on it. And I don't think his ownership's going to get out of hand because he is 11.5. People do want to play the Rays, who have been priced up in Coors Field. So it's going to be kind of a combination of Schlittler. Sproat is definitely going to be the highest owned guy on the slate at 8K against a strikeout happy Pirates team who over the last month have just been striking out a ton, both versus righties and lefties. So that'll be a talking point with Brandon Sproat at 8K. Bubba Chandler is going to get some love. Matthew Boyd might get a little love, which is a little shocking to me against the Dodgers there. So we'll do our best to break it all down here and talk about it. Say hi to a couple people in chat here. Our guy Sean Sully in here, Benny Gangrene, my guy Nick, who's now playing baseball. Welcome to the dark side, Nick. Love to have you over here, Nate. And yeah. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton here. Matt, I'm going to go ahead and add the Stone 2.0 here onto the screen when we're going to go and break down pitching here. Let's just break down. Actually, let's go 8K and above and then go 8K and below, because there is some guys down below 8K that we can talk about as well. And there's some guys obviously up above 8K to talk about too. So Brandon Sproat down at 8K. Projection off the chart. Ownership's going to be off the chart. I ran the dry run, got about 70% of Brandon Sproat paired with the Rays, which makes sense, right? Feels like a pretty clear-cut way to play this slate. That's what everyone's going to do. That's what the optimizers are going to spit out. So talk about him at 8K. He can get wild at times, have some command issues, but overall he's been a pretty solid pitcher, and the Pirates do have a lot of strikeouts there. That's hence the ownership going to him. And then Cam Schlittler all the way up at the top at 11.5. Does he feel like he's a little overpriced here, but the Cardinals just been absolutely abysmal over the last month. They just haven't been hitting right now. The Yankees look very good on offense here tonight, so he should have run support. We know Schlittler is just a fastball guy, or like a hard thrower, right? Pounds the zone. If he's got it, he's got it, right? So he has by far the most upside, I would say, of anyone on the slate. You do have to pay for it. So are you going to prioritize Cam Schlittler? Are you going to play the chalky Brandon Sproat? Are you going to mess with guys like Logan Webb? Robleski looks pretty good to me on the other side of that Matthew Boyd game. And then talk about Matthew Boyd as well, getting some ownership against the Dodgers here, which on a 7-game slate, I don't love picking on one of the best offenses in baseball. Talk to me.
Yeah, so to answer your last question, which is almost sounded rhetorical, but I'm going to answer it because it's kind of a big decision point on the slate for me. I think I'm going to get different at pitcher tonight just because I don't love the options. Obviously, Schlittler is an ace for sure. A top DFS pitcher. You're just paying for it on this slate. 11.5 is a hefty tag here when there's expensive bats. So I expect Schlittler to pitch really well, but I'm not going to be surprised if he's, puts up 22 fantasy points, which is good, but at 11.5 isn't worth allocating that much salary. And then Brandon Sproat, who I understand why he's getting ownership, because simply put, we're just not working with a lot tonight. The options are limited. You're not going to have too many guys you feel comfortable with. His price tag feels cheap for his strikeout upside, but I think his floor is low against the Pittsburgh lineup that we know has power, at least against right-handed pitching. Now, they've kind of gone in the hole for the past month, I guess, since the All-Star break. They haven't been nearly as good, but it's not like Sproat is a guy you feel great about to throw a clean outing ever. So I think he comes with his flaws, but I understand why he's getting ownership just because there is no pitcher on this slate other than Schlittler, who's 11.5, who you just feel warm and fuzzy about. Robleski, I've been a fan of his this year, coming off a bad outing. He seems fairly priced, so I like him. I'm not super excited about playing him here. I would definitely play him over Matt Boyd. I can't play Boyd against the Dodgers. Even though I'd rather use a lefty against them, I'm personally not using Boyd against the Dodgers here. There's a cheaper pitcher, another lefty on the hill tonight. I like way more Boyd, way cheaper, who I think outscores Boyd. So I'm out on Boyd. I could get talked into Robleski. Logan Webb is tough for me. Obviously, we always prefer him at home. And Texas has been feisty against right-handed pitching. You got Corey Seager back now. But as far as just arm talent on this slate, I think he's, for me at least, the second best pitcher overall behind Schlittler. If we were doing a fantasy draft at the beginning of the year, he would go second behind Schlittler. Not that that means anything for tonight, but it just speaks to his talent level. So struggling a little bit with Webb. I don't love him here, but could I play him at low ownership over guys that are in better spots that are less talented? I think so. So that's kind of my decision points right now. How do you see it?
Yeah, I like a lot of what you said. Dalton Varsho traded to the Astros, which is a big get for them. Obviously, we know they struggle with left-handed bats in that lineup behind Yordan, right? So that does help, and it looks like it was straight up for Arrighetti for Dalton Varsho. That feels pretty interesting there, and those two teams are facing off here, so maybe a little pregame work in the old clubhouse there. So shout out to the Astros there, which we'll talk about them when we get to hitting. They look really good to me tonight here. But pitching, I am kind of prioritizing Cam Schlittler just because of the way the slate. Cam Schlittler can go out and post a score that you need, right? Or that nobody else can really come close to. Obviously, that can go both ways, but he looked absolutely locked in. St. Louis is scuffling at the plate right now. I know it's not the best strikeout matchup there, but I mean, if Schlittler's on his game, I don't really think the matchup matters too much. He obviously throws very hard, pounds the zone. He's got good stuff. So for me, if I can get to Schlittler, I want to get to him. That might mean sacrificing a Junior Caminero out of a Rays stack, which feels gross. But you can do that. I like some other offenses on the slate as well outside of Coors Field there. So I do think prioritizing Cam Schlittler is the way I want to approach this slate. I also have a lot of interest in Justin Robleski at 9K. You got pretty decent pitching conditions there in Wrigley Field here tonight. Temperatures in the upper 60s. It's not like it's 90 degrees anymore in the heart of summer here. You got some slight wind blowing in as well. Robleski's a good arm. I think he's a quality arm. Cubs do have some bats to kind of scare me off there a little bit, but at 9K at pretty low ownership, nobody's really going to click that name. I think he's my second favorite pitcher up here. Brandon Sproat, I think, is fine play on paper. I get the reasoning there. 5.5 K prop. It is juiced the under, but you look at the strikeouts in this matchup here. Pirates, 5th most strikeouts against right-handed pitching over the last month. If Sproat can kind of control his issues right and have his command, I think he can post a score. And I mean that he's projected higher than Webb, Robleski, and Matthew Boyd, and he's cheaper than all three of them, right? So that's why the ownership's going there. It's hard to get away, but if you play Brandon Sproat, just go to a different team besides the Rays, and you're different right there, right? Like, just don't play Coors Field, don't play the Rays, which are getting slammed in 100% of projected dry run builds. And it doesn't matter what Sproat's ownership is there. It does feel gross, though, playing Brandon Sproat into this kind of ownership. I liked playing Brandon Sproat a lot this year earlier in the season when nobody was really playing him, and he was kind of more of a pivot. Now he's the focal point of everybody's roster. I just know how this stuff goes. We've been playing DFS a long time, Matt, right? This just feels like when everybody just wants to slam this guy in because it's the numbers play, it's the K props, it's the strikeout matchup, everything. I just know this goes south, and it's not like he's cheap. I mean, there's a bunch of guys you can play below 8K on this slate, and they have probably similar range of outcomes right on this slate. I mean, Sproat's not safe by any means. So he would be my third favorite guy up here. I'm not messing with Logan Webb at 9,500 against Texas, who's got Corey Seager back. I like Logan Webb more at home. He's kind of a turbo ground baller, right? Sinker baller guy. Like I don't love it against Texas at 9,500. So up top, it's Schlittler and Robleski. Far and away my two favorite guys, and then Brandon Sproat just by de facto of the slate. And if I'm playing him, I'm going to look to get a little different. Maybe I go to a Houston offense or a Yankees offense to get a little different than 5 stacking the Rays in Coors Field with their almost 7 implied run total there. Down below 8K, I think there is some guys we can play here. Michael King looks kind of interesting to me. He ranks really good in our pitcher rankings. I like him. Ian Seymour, a lefty against the Rockies. He is pitching at Coors Field. He does have always pitch count concerns there, just like every Tampa Bay Rays. But I mean, the price is right? 6,900 in that kind of strikeout matchup there. I don't think he's the worst play. I think Bubba Chandler's kind of interesting at 6,600 against the Brewers there, who have kind of been scuffling as of late a little bit here. Those are kind of 3 guys that I think are pretty interesting down below as well. But talk to me here. Maybe can you get to a Brandon Pfaadt at 7,200 in that matchup, pitching out there against San Diego? Talk to me here on the lower tier. I know all of them probably can be played. All of them, you can avoid all of them altogether. Like this, it's just a really weird pitching slate. Personally, I'm going to kind of just spread out my exposures down here and just hope that I kind of find the right guy. But if I had to pick one, Michael King would be my favorite, followed probably by Ian Seymour. But talk to me.
Yeah, for me, it's Seymour. I love the price tag. Obviously, I hate being in Coors, but if I'm going to pick on the Rockies in Coors, it's going to be with a lefty. Seymour's been good. He's in good form right now. You have the pitch count concerns and obviously the spot concerns, so I think his floor is low, but I think his ceiling is high for this tag. Ownership isn't going to really be there. He's cheap, and I don't like pitching on this slate, and he's low owned. So, like, talking about Sproat, going back to him, for instance, like there's a lot of slates, recent slates, non-recent slates, tomorrow's slate, yesterday's slate, whatever, where Sproat would be very low owned because there'd just be better pitchers on the slate. Today, there aren't better pitchers. So I don't think Seymour is some great play, but he's not getting ownership when a guy like Sproat is going to be really, really popular. I think their range of outcomes are much more similar than the field does, and you're playing 1,000 more for Sproat. Now, I think you obviously feel safer about Sproat, not in cores, and I think his floor is probably lower, but I don't even know about that. His floor can be pretty low on any given day. So, yeah, I'm in on Seymour here. I like him. I think you can play him with anyone, someone who's not crazy expensive to just get all the expensive bats, or if you want to play Schlittler, he's an easy guy to play with him and still get expensive bats. So I think I'm in on Seymour tonight, and mostly because I just don't love the options, like any of the other options.
Yeah, I like that. Like I said, I mean, I think Michael King, Seymour, Bubba Chandler are kind of the three main guys I'd look at down here. Pair with those three guys up top, and I'm looking at kind of six guys in my main pitching pool here. You could spread out. I'm not messing with Cal Quantrill. I saw some talks about that. I mean, he's a no for me. But I think you could do obviously worse. He is 6K on a weak pitching slate. Not messing with Lorenzen. McGreevy's due for some regression. Not playing him in Yankee Stadium against a bunch of lefties. I don't think that's interesting. Javier's looked atrocious. Bieber's looked atrocious, so not messing with those two guys. So yeah, I mean, Brandon Pfaadt, Seymour, Chandler, King, Sproat, Robleski, Schlittler. Those are kind of the seven main guys that I see pitching overall, with a heavy emphasis on Cam Schlittler as kind of my priority, followed by Robleski. Let's jump over here, Matt. Any closing takes from you from a pitching?
No, it's pretty ugly all the way around. So if you have a strong take on anyone, play that guy or play the ownership game. Just pretty ugly pitching slate, which I don't love, but everyone's playing with the same field.
Yeah, everyone's got the same deck of cards, and hopefully you beat everyone else's hand, right, with the two that you're dealt. So we'll play that game. Let's talk offense. With as weak as pitching is, I think offense is a little better here. Obviously, you got the Rays, right? Everyone knows the Rays are on paper the best spot. Ownership's going to follow, like I said, off the top of the show here. But another really good spot, in my opinion, here is the Yankees. We just talked about Jojo Romero getting traded away from the Cardinals. That's a lefty gone out of their pen. They traded some other guys away. And I think the Yankees are probably my favorite stack on the slate when you consider their ownership, looking at it. I mean, it's close between them and the Astros, but seeing pretty low ownership against Michael McGreevy, who's due for big-time regression, especially against the left side. And he's going to face 8 lefties in Yankee Stadium when the Yankees got their ace going on the mound. I mean, I think this is a slam the chips in for me here with the Yankees. I love all the lefties here. It's 80 degrees to start the game here. Some wind kind of blowing across the field, but more so out towards that short porch in right field, which we love for that left-handed power. Talk to me here. Yankees looked amazing, especially with the limited lefties, if any lefties available in that St. Louis bullpen, which is one of the league worst. I mean, it's bottom 6 in the league in terms of xFIP. All things point to a Yankee steamroll here.
Yeah, I also really, really like the Yankees tonight. I got no arguments with anything you said. McGreevy's a pitcher I've picked on all year. I was mad. I didn't stack the Cubs last night he was on because I picked on him almost every start he's pitched, and I didn't last time. I had FOMO. Cubs went off. So now I don't want to have that FOMO again. So the Yankees are right atop my list. Man, it's hard to say any stack on paper looks better than the Rays because they don't. But considering ownership, yeah, the Yankees are right up there as my favorite stack. And I could see prioritizing them in any size field because you're going to get a massive ownership discount. They're not even going to be the second highest owned team on the slate behind the Rays. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I like the Yanks a lot tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm not messing with the Cardinals. I know it's not even like Schlittler's going to be mega chalk by any means because of his salary there. So, I mean, Yeah, you can throw the word leverage in there, but I don't think I'm signing up to play the Cardinals. I mean, if you wanted to mess with a Weatherholt who's back in there, Burleson, Walker, if he can figure out how to hit after the home run derby, maybe that's. But Weatherholt and Burleson would kind of be the guys. Maybe Herrera as a contrarian catcher with some power, but Yankees good bullpen, good starting pitcher, the best arm on the slate. I just don't think there's a need to mess with the Cardinals. It is baseball at the end of the day. Anything can happen. Large field tournaments, things like that, 150 maxers, you're going to see people exposed to the Cardinals. It's just, I don't think it's the best way to approach the slate personally myself. Next game on the slate, Brewers and the Pirates. Two offenses that aren't going to get played on the slate, two pitchers, one pitcher for sure, and Brandon Sproat that's going to get played. So if you had to pick a side, I mean, picking off some of these lefties, I think isn't the lefty power here from the Pirates. I don't think it's the worst play in the world. Brandon Sproat can get wild, like I talked about. I mean, he does have a 12% walk rate to both sides of the plate. He does give up some power to both sides. So Valdez, Reynolds, Brendan Lau, Gonzalez, all these guys can hit for some power, especially over the last 30 days against right-handed pitching. You do get leverage against the highest owned pitcher, like I talked about on the slate. Still not a great game for stacking. I think both of these teams find a way in terms of stacks on the slate just because of how the slate shakes up and only having 7 games. But these are two teams that I don't love from a stacking perspective. Probably actually lean Pirates over my Brewers here, which I know, surprise, surprise, chat's going to go crazy. Might have to check my pulse. But, yeah, that's kind of how I see it.
We don't believe you. We just don't believe you. No matter what you say, we know you love the Brewers today. No, just playing. I mean, I'm more with you here. I guess, like, I do think I might like the Brewers more than you, which sounds weird to say just because I don't think Chandler's very good. Now, the problem is always with the Brewers is they don't hit home runs, and you're going to need that on this slate. So I guess for me, I don't mind using the Brewers as like one-offs or mini stacks because they have good hitters throughout their lineup, and Chandler's not very good. With the Pirates, their lineup isn't nearly as good, but you get the leverage. So I think both of these teams are like mid-tier stacks. It's just hard to prioritize them, like you mentioned, with so many other like really good stacks on the board.
Yeah, I mean, you want the lefties against Chandler. It's just you don't know if you're going to get a pitch to hit. I mean, he just throws super hard, has no idea where the pitch is going to go. So, I mean, yeah, Jake Bauers looks great. Bryce Turang looks great. Garrett Mitchell looks good. I mean, the power lefties for the Brewers of what power they do have. But, I mean, 5,300 for Turang, 4,900 for Yelich. Bauers would be by far Bauers, Mitchell, Lara, kind of those cheap lefties at the back half would be more my preference. But as like a full stack, which I prefer if I'm playing the Brewers to full stack them outside of like a Bauers one-off or a Turang one-off, I prefer to full stack the Brewers because to your point, right, they don't hit a lot of home runs and they get there with steals and small ball and occasional hit a home run here or there. So in that regard, I'd rather just full stack the Pirates against the highest owned pitcher on the slate, who also is susceptible to some power and can have command issues as well. So that's kind of how I see the game overall. Next spot on the slate, Giants and the Rangers. I think you could mess with some Giants, but into ownership, I don't love it here. Losing Luis Arias, who's kind of always puts the ball in play, usually is on base more times than not for the Giants. They don't have him in there. You're going to get some cheap guys in this lineup for sure, like a Drew Gilbert and that. But, I mean, Cal Quantrill's not great by any means. He's actually pretty bad. In my opinion, Texas bullpen has not been that great either. So you could see a scenario here where the Giants have a path, but I hate this ballpark compared to other spots in the slate. I can't prioritize this game, and Giants are getting ownership just because of Cal Quantrill. Everybody stacks against them. I don't think it's the worst play in the world, but I'd actually probably rather prefer the Brewers and the Pirates to the Giants in that last game than this game and the ballpark added in. What do you see?
This is one I'm definitely torn on because Quantrill is the guy that I stack against. I mean, he's one of my favorite pitchers to stack against. He's just that bad. He's one of the worst pitchers in baseball. But I'm not excited about the Giants lineup. I don't like this ballpark. You mentioned they lost Arias. You can't play both their first base guys. So I do feel like I can't do it. You mentioned him in passing. We went over pitchers. If there was ever a slate to play Cal Quantrill, I couldn't hate anyone who played him tonight. I can't believe I'm even uttering those words, but yeah, that's the pitching that we're dealing with, and we've got some really good offenses on this slate. And I think getting different a pitcher is worth a lot tonight. So, yeah, as much as I want to like San Francisco because it's Quantrill into ownership with this lineup on this slate, it's a tough sell for me. And I'm not interested in Texas against Logan Webb.
Yeah, no interest picking on a ground baller in this globe life. One of the worst parks in baseball for hitting. I mean, if you want to ride the hot ham and Jock jams, right? I don't know what Hamwich had to do. Jock said, "Screw you, Ham. You're dusty ass. I'm gonna show you I can still hit home runs here." So, I mean, that dude's been raking 382 ice over the last month. No strikeouts really to be had. Him and Langford, I think, are two okay plays, but I don't really love picking on a Logan Webb. You do have a pretty bad bullpen behind Logan Webb, 5th worst in baseball in terms of xFIP. It's just I think Logan Webb does enough that you're going to see the platoon guys. He usually goes 6 or 7 innings, so then you got the back end of that bullpen, which most teams have at least serviceable arms there, and you got fresh arms coming out. So I don't love it. And yeah, the Giants. I mean, a Devers or Eldridge one-off, I mean, something like that, I think is interesting. It sucks. You have no Arias. You can't play both these guys at first base, like you alluded to. They're getting ownership. I don't know. I could see a path where they get there just because Cal Quantrill is horrible, but everyone knows that. And that's kind of, if people are looking for value, I think this is the team they're going to go to fit in with the Rays and their Yankees power bats is some of these Giants guys. I think personally, because you look at it, I mean, their highest priced guy is Rafael Devers at $4,200, right? So that's kind of, you're going to see a lot of builds with Tampa Bay Rays, Brandon Sproat, and some value guys from the Giants, I think. Next spot on the slate here, Dodgers, Cubs, Matthew Boyd, Robleski I had a lot of interest in, not so much in Matthew Boyd here. Not the best hitting environment in Wrigley, but it's not horrible by any means, and it's still the Dodgers. You got Kiki, do you love me, right? Shout out to G. Risen. He would love that. He'd be saying that for sure against the lefty. Third base outfield eligible. 3,500. I mean, you're probably looking at 2 at-bats from him. He probably gets pinch hit for, but Andy Paez has a bunch of power against lefties. Tommy Edman, Ohtani obviously is incredible. Freeman's still good lefty-lefty. Mookie Betts. I think you could get pretty contrarian here with some Dodgers here. Obviously, Screwball in the locker room. I think Screwball's slated to start tomorrow as well. So maybe some more buzz for the Dodgers if they need it anymore. Any interest from best offense in baseball against a fairly chalky Matthew Boyd, or how do you see it?
Yeah, I think you can definitely play some Dodgers here. I mean, you don't love the offensive conditions, but it's the Dodgers low owned against a pitcher who's fine. I mean, Matthew Boyd isn't a gas can, but certainly not a guy I'm afraid to use bats against, especially when we're talking low-owned Dodgers. Now, they're expensive, and they're clearly not in the best spot on the slate, but it's a small slate. Yeah, I could definitely buy some Dodgers here. I mean, again, I think you're just playing into the fact that the Dodgers are really, really good, and they're going to be low-owned, and that's it. But that's probably all you need, because on any slate, like, man, to say that even with their lineup, their upside is higher than Tampa's tonight, but their lineup is just so much better than Tampa's. Like, even in this spot, I think their upside is higher just because their home run upside is always going to be the highest. So, yeah, I could buy the Dodgers here.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Matthew Boyd, right? He's below average against righties. He's above average with ground balls and strikeouts to the left side. The issue is his 2 lefties he's going to face is Ohtani and Freeman. Kyle Tucker, which obviously, I mean, Kyle Tucker has fallen off the face of the earth this season, but he's still at the core a good baseball player. And then you're going to see 6 right-handed hitters with some power, right? So, I mean, you look at him, Matthew Boyd gives up a ton of fly balls to the right side. So those guys, you're looking at Tio Hernandez, Mookie Betts, Paez, Edman. All of those guys hit the ball in the air. They're going to be unowned. And then you look at the Cubs bullpen. They did obviously make some trades, but I would assume some of those guys are not available tonight, especially the relievers that they picked up today from like the Angels and that. Cubs bullpen kind of middle of the road. That's why they're adding to it at the deadline here, because they're going to try and gun for the Brewers in the division here. and make a run at the NL here to see if we can't chase the coattails of the Dodgers in the playoffs. I think the Dodgers are pretty interesting on paper. No Cubs interest for me, really. Suzuki, you can always pick a power guy like him. Carson Kelly at 3,400 with some power at catcher, which usually I like to include catcher in a stack. But if I'm not, it's either punting all the way down to the bottom or kind of living in that 3K range with a guy who has some power. And Carson Kelly fits that script a little bit there. But yeah, Dodgers I think are super interesting. I put them behind the Yankees and probably the Astros as well in this next game that we're going to talk about here. But I think they're right there behind the Rays. I mean, they're kind of fourth for me behind the Rays as kind of the top 4 teams on the slate. I mean, they're going to be on a 7-game slate with full netting at bat. So it does check out to me. Next spot, Astros, Blue Jays. I like the spot a lot. Bieber had one good start since his return from the IL stint and his injuries there, and has looked atrocious since. I mean, what do you have? 6 walks in 1 inning last week. He's horrible to the left side. The issue is Jordan could get walked like 3 times here. And then Paredes, Walker. I mean, the Astros have been against right-handed pitching, the best team in baseball over the last month. They lead the league in OPS. I didn't see they were 9-1 in their last 10 going into yesterday. I didn't follow it all the way through if they won yesterday, but they're red hot right now. They look pretty damn good to me on paper. Ownership's not going to be there because obviously we got Coors Field on a 7-game slate. Toronto does have a good bullpen. There is a worry there. But if they could jump on them early, I mean, I think you could see a path to success here for this game. And I don't think the Toronto side's that bad either. I mean, I don't think Javier is a good pitcher at the current state. Issue is I just don't love picking out individual Blue Jays bats here. So it's probably just a full stack or nothing for me. But Okamoto has been great at 4K at third base. Springer's starting to swing a better bat. He's still 4,200. Vlad's outside of Toronto, so maybe he can find a home run. But talk to me here. How do you see this game? It looks really good on paper to me.
Yeah, I also agree with you. Like, man, I want to believe Bieber still is talented because he's a Cleveland legend. Obviously, was good for Cleveland forever. But man, he just doesn't have it anymore. I got burned yesterday by the Blue Jays and by going with a team against the has-been ace, the Cardinals against Max Scherzer. So that's my only hesitancy with this game. But on paper, I'm right there with you. Both these teams look really, really good. Contrarian stacks off the Rays. You get a Blue Jays lineup that I was going to say cheaper, but Varsho is already really cheap himself. So probably cheaper. And the guy who's replacing him is like 2K. They're going to be cheap. Wonder if Varsho is in the Astros lineup tonight, considering they play. That'll be interesting to see. Houston looks good against Bieber. The walk thing I'm a little bit worried about. And yeah, like there's Jordan who you're paying buku bucks for, just walk a bunch of times, which is not what you're looking for, maybe. But his upside is obviously really high here. Like maybe Pena walks to lead off the game and Bieber has to throw Alvarez strikes or whatever the case may be. I could get in on both offenses here for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I do lean the Houston side over the Toronto side to looking at it, but I think this game could shoot out on both sides, and I wouldn't be shocked to see this game outscore Coors overall as a whole. So this is kind of my first game going to, which isn't going to be super contrarian, but I mean Tampa Bay is just soaking up so much ownership that nothing else really matters on this slate. So I put Houston up there with the Yankees as kind of my 1A, 1B as pivots off the Rays when I'm looking at things. And I do have Toronto ahead of teams like the Brewers, like the Pirates, like the Giants, probably even like the higher than the Dodgers as well, just because their salaries are much more. And I talked about wanting to prioritize Schlittler up at the top, and then maybe I can get to Robleski and just say, screw everyone punting pitching. I'll just play 2 spend up pitching and 5-stack Toronto or something like that, right? So get you on a different roster construction than what the field is doing. So in those type of builds, I think definitely the Toronto side, but even the Houston side too, I think can allow you to do that overall, which I think is super interesting on a slate like this when it feels very cut and dry. Let's talk about it here. Let's talk about Tampa Bay facing one of the most attackable pitchers in all of baseball, still trotting out there making starts for the Rockies. We know Coors Field doesn't boost home runs. It boosts a lot of singles, doubles, extra base hits, stuff like that. And that fits right into the Rays deck of cards. The issue I have when a team like Tampa Bay, right, who throws pinch hitters left and right, I mean, okay, so if they jump on Lorenzen early, I mean, you're probably going to see a lefty come out of that pen there for the Rockies. And you're looking at pinch hits for a lot of these guys. I mean, Victor Mesa, if he starts, he's a pinch hit guy. Palacios, Chandler Simpson. I don't know if Liam Hicks is going to be in the lineup there tonight. There's a lot of pinch hit risk with the Tampa Bay Rays. They are going to be by far and away the highest owned. They look like the best stack on paper. I think I'd actually prioritize playing Junior Caminero in my Rays stacks because as crazy as that sounds, I think he goes overlooked to an extent compared to a guy like Yandy Diaz. I think that you can save $1,000 and play him at third. Obviously, you can play them both, but talk to me here. How do you see Coors Field? I don't have as much interest in the Rockies, but I do think obviously the Rays, very, very good spot overall on paper. It's just the ownership, right? That's kind of the argument you're making against them, and then the pinch hit. But how do you see it?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. The pinch hit risk, I guess, is real, but the counterpoint to what you said is like if they do jump on Lorenzen early, like are they going to pinch hit if they're up 6-7 runs? Maybe they might. They might not though. But in order for that to even be a question, you would need them to get up big. So it's definitely a question here. And yeah, I like the Caminero call because he's so expensive. It's just hard to spend $7K on any hitter ever. So that's why his ownership's not going to be crazy high. And I'm sure the cheap guys with pinch hit risk are going to be owned. So I think, building your Rays stacks with expensive guys makes sense. It always stinks for them. You can't play Diaz, Aranda, and Caminero, but you can only stack 5 guys anyways in any given lineup. So the Rays, yeah, it's just an ownership thing. Like they're going to be really highly owned tonight, but they deserve it. They're, for me, by far the most likely team to be the top stack. So while I would still take the field over them, you have to get the field right. You can't just take the field. You got to get whoever it is in the field that outscores them right. And that's a tough proposition, even though we've talked about other teams we like. But it's also a tough proposition to get to the top of tournaments with a Rays stack because so many people are going to play them. You need to be perfect with your Rays stack and then perfect with the guys you play around them. So it's classic DFS right here. I think you can build really good lineups with Tampa and without Tampa. It's just a matter of how you want to play it.
Yeah, I mean, Bernardino is the only lefty reliever for the Rockies that I'm seeing. He is rested. The whole Rockies bullpen is rested. So you're probably looking at, in a perfect scenario, if you're the Rockies, you're probably looking at 5 innings out of Lorenzen and then piecemealing platoon advantages left, right, and kind of however you set it up. And to Kenny's point in the chat, I mean, the Rays don't give a shit. They'll pinch hit even if they are up half the time, 6-7 runs. It's just how they do it. I don't know. It's just it's good, like I said, for real life. Sucks for DFS, and I do have worried, but on paper they are far and away the best overall stack. I do think I prefer the Yankees and the Astros to them personally myself. Definitely the Yankees for sure. I'm prioritizing over the Rays. When you add it in, you add the ownership discount, the less pinch hit risk, and bad bullpen for the Cardinals there. Rockies, I'm with you. I don't have much interest in the Rockies. I mean, Hunter Goodman looks like an elite one-off. Spend up $6,200 at a catcher. Feels very, very gross to click. But, I mean, this dude has incredible upside, some of the most upside on the slate. I mean, he's had multiple double home run. He had a triple home run game or 3 home runs earlier this season. Outside of that, I mean, Cole Carrig, maybe something like that. You are going to get the Rockies lower owned. Rays just have a good bullpen. They're fine already pulling Seymour. So that's kind of the worrisome. I do have teams like the Astros, the Dodgers, probably even the Yankees for sure over teams like the Rockies. Next spot, last spot on the slate, Brandon Pfaadt, Michael King, 2 pitchers I had some interest in here. Arizona's not been great as of late. Padres, you always have a soft spot for your Padres. They have started they have started to hit a little better and have kind of come around, which you would expect looking at least some of these players on the roster right on paper. I mean, you could get to them. I don't know. I don't love it. They have been pretty solid, though, over the last 30 days, especially against right-handed pitching. Ty France, Machado, Jackson Merrill. Rengifo decided to figure out how to hit when he left Milwaukee. So that's been nice. He's got a favorable price point. Tatis is always live for a stolen base or two. How do you see it? I have to assume you're going to have some interest in the Padres like you always do, but these are both your boys. These are your babies right here.
I know.
These are these are your two favorites right here.
I can't believe you're giving me crap about the Padres and not the D-backs. That's the only surprise here, but I feel like you're getting there. It just, you went hard on the Padres for me, and you're right. I like both these teams a lot. I don't love them tonight. Like, Fott is a pitcher who, seemingly we wanted to pick on a lot, when he first appeared this year, because that's what we're used to, but he's been pretty decent. And I'm more with you that I think you could use him on this slate. It's risky. The Padres lineup always has upside, and they've been good against right-handed pitching, as you mentioned. Just hard for me to prioritize the Padres stack here. You do get a ballpark upgrade for them. And we're getting San Diego. It's interesting. And then Arizona, tougher sell. King is a better pitcher than Fott, and you got that lethal San Diego bullpen. Arizona against right-handed pitching is just pretty underwhelming, and I don't like King as much as you on this slate, but I won't stack Arizona. The Padres, if I was playing enough lineups, I could get there, but if I were playing one lineup, I think this game as a whole would just mostly be a pass for me.
Yeah, that's exactly how I see it. MME, sure. You can do anything you want. And you could see a path, right? Michael King at Wild, right? So you're looking at kind of more of a full stack there. Issue is Padres have a really good bullpen. Arizona's bullpen's actually been better, and they're pretty rested as well. So I'm just kind of hoping this game is kind of like a 5-4 game, something like that, and it's not needed on DFS is kind of how I see it. You can always play the expensive one-offs, or not the expensive, but the upside one-offs like a Machado, a Tatis, Corbin Carroll if he's in there, Ketel Marte, those kind of guys you can always play on any slate, but not prioritizing them on this slate. Matt, takes us to the end of the show here. Your favorite, or your let's go your top 3 pitchers, your top 3 stacks, and a home run call if you have one.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little off the board with pitcher. I'm going to go Seymour. I am going to go, I think you got to say Schlittler, just because he's by far the best arm on the slate. And then I'm going to go Robleski. I like him to bounce back here. Top stacks. We both like the Yankees a lot. The Yankees, the Rays, and then I like both sides of the Astros, Blue Jays. I know you like Houston more, so I'll say Toronto.
I like that. I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'll go Cam Schlittler. I'll go Justin Robleski, and then I will go as kind of my cheaper guy. I will go. I'm torn between Michael King and Seymour, so I'll just say them both. But those are kind of the main guys I'm looking at. Obviously, Sproat on paper looks amazing, but if there's one spot I think being a little under on, if I was picking between the Rays and Brandon Sproat, I'd probably pick Brandon Sproat personally myself, just with the downside I could see, and he is still one of the most expensive pitchers on the slate that we're dealing with here. My offense, I'm going Yankees number 1, Astros number 2. I'll go Dodgers 3. Obviously, Rays look amazing and they're great, but teams outside of that, those are kind of the 3 main teams I'm looking at there. My home run call, I'm going to go to the Blue Jays, actually. I'm going to go to third base. I'm going to go to Okamoto. Is kind of where I'm looking at. I think $4K for him in the heart of that lineup is a pretty nice price point there, and hopefully he can tag Javier deep there. And even if those relievers come in for the Astros, they suck too. So hopefully he can tag one of them there. Matt, it was a blast breaking down the show with you. We'll have the content all up. I know you'll have your cores up. We'll be in the Discord. 7 games on the docket. Do pay attention. We've got about an hour and 15 minutes or so left before the trade deadline. That'd be hilarious if we do see Dalton Varsho suit up on the other side of that game after getting traded. He's already in town. I wouldn't be shocked to see that, but probably not, because I doubt he has uniforms and things like that ready. But hey, crazier shit has happened. That game is still a couple hours away from game time there. So well, it'll be interesting to see. But Matt, appreciate it. Like I said, appreciate everyone in the chat. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. If you're not a member, SHIP19 is the code you see there on the screen. Check us out. Football right around the corner. Can't wait for that. I know you're pumped. Hopefully we're doing some shows for that right around the corner, like I said. And yeah, good luck tonight in those contests. Hope to see those Ship Nation logos at the top. We're out of here. Peace.